Welcome back to the Authentic Human Podcast. I'm Michelle Vickers, and this is part 72 of the story of creation. And of course, this story of creation is not according to me. It is not according to any research that I have done. It is basically an exploration that I'm on, and that exploration occurs with live conversations with the creator, with all kinds of universal beings, the universal beings who created humanity, but also a whole bunch of universal beings that have participated in evolution and existence. And they, contribute to who you are, whether we recognize that or not, right? So ultimately, the goal here is to bring more awareness of who you are and why you exist, right? This is self-awareness. We want to bring that back to you because self-awareness is the most important tool you have, especially right now. This is where, humanity is moving towards a revolution. And that revolution is about restoring who we are and who we were created to be into this world that has been damaged, if you will. And at this point, that world has been damaged beyond, well, beyond belief is the way that they're saying it. And so our job as humans is to remember, right? And that's self-awareness, is to remember about yourself, because that's the most powerful thing you can do. And this is not about a mental game. This is not about it's not even about a spiritual game. It's not about it's not about following any rules. It's about understanding that your instincts have more wisdom and information in them because they are your soul communicating with you, right? That's your connection to the universe. And that's really what they want to talk about today. The creator is explaining that humanity, for the most part, has forgotten the origins of your soul, like the understanding of not only how your soul came to be, but it's your link, right? It's your link to the universe, to consciousness. And I know we've talked about this generally in almost every episode, really, that we've done of the story of creation. And we're in part 72. So that's a lot of conversations about you and your soul and understanding yourself from a soul perspective. But what the creator, so when I say he, that's who I'm talking about right now, what he wants you to understand is your soul is an integral aspect of creation. And as a result, it holds the wisdom of creation. Okay. Not like a dictionary, right? Or a encyclopedia, if you will. It's not even like Google, right? You don't Google in your mind the information you want, because that's not how consciousness works. That's not how your soul works. What happens is when you have a question about anything in existence, it's understanding that your vibration changes. Okay. It's almost like how they say where, animals, right? When they have fear, their scent changes because they're now their pheromones and their glands are putting out sense of fear. So other animals pick up on that. Okay. That's so similar, okay, to how humans are created. So when you have a question, you're not putting out a scent, you're putting out a frequency and a vibration. It's that simple, but it's that cool because now your frequency and vibration, it's like fingers that are super long. Okay. And when I say super long, I mean they literally reach from one extreme of the universe to the other, right? It's infinite. So there is no ending. It's not from one end to the other, but it's understanding that wherever the information is, that your energy is gone to find it. That's what happens when you ask a question. That's why your questions are extremely important to your journey. But more importantly, it's understanding how this works. So when you have a question, okay, it's because your instincts have come up and said, I need to understand this so that I can better understand myself, right? Self-awareness. But I need to also understand where I fit in creation, in existence, in evolution. I also need to understand this one piece and this one question so that I can move beyond where I am and create more. So sometimes your questions are about current relationships that you're in, right? Sometimes they're just about, why do you feel uncomfortable? Why do you feel sad? Why do you feel angry? Right? Sometimes your questions are, can I do this? But we don't think that these questions are important. Why? Because we've been taught to not focus on them. We've been taught, here's your goal for the day. You need to do this. And we've been inundated, like massively inundated with our to-do lists every day. Okay. Which basically takes our questions that we need answered, right? And they put them on the side. So they are at the end of the day if you have time. And what the creator is saying, there's angelics here and there's millions of souls. And what they're saying is when you ask your question first, your day is going to begin to flow. Ask them. Focus on them. This doesn't mean, okay, you have a question and then you go, oh, well, I should go look it up in Google, right? That's not what this is about. This is not about the search engine of the internet. This is understanding that you have the capacity to literally track down the answers in the entire universe instantaneously. But that takes two basically aspects of your participation. Number one, you have to believe that you have that power. If you don't believe you can get the answers, it won't happen. Because when they come, you're not going to see them. It's not because the universe isn't going to answer them. It's because your brain has decided, I can't actually do this. Only Michelle can do this. Or I have to go to someone else who can do this. You not only can do it, you're meant to do it. You were created to have access to every aspect of existence. Okay? Even things that are confidential or classified, they're all in your realm, all of it. So the second part and the only second reason why you wouldn't be able to participate is that you don't allow yourself to receive the answer when it comes. Okay. So the first is you don't believe you're capable. The second is when the answer comes, you're like, whoa, that doesn't make sense, or it doesn't fit into my ideas and my beliefs, or sometimes, I can't do that. I don't want that information, that answer, because it makes me uncomfortable. It means I'm going to have to change a part of me, a part of my life, and I'm going to have to do something I'm uncomfortable doing. Okay. Those are the two reasons that you ultimately would block yourself from conscious awareness. That's exactly what you're doing. So this is important to understand, okay? When you have a question, the answer is going to come from consciousness. So this whole belief system that says we're becoming conscious beings, but we don't actually have access to it, it's a elevated state of being, those are lies. Those are lies. You actually have 100% access all the time. The only reason you don't is because somewhere you believe, oh, I can't do that. Someone else can do it, but I'm not good enough, or I don't have enough experience. The reality is you have everything you need. You were literally encoded to do this. You just have to believe it. And how do you believe it? Like when I first started, when I first started doing this, I want to say as a career, but really as my life path, my life journey, I had to learn how to trust my instincts. I had to learn how to trust my relationship with universal beings. Okay. So we've been told in this part of the world, right? In our human side, that's what I mean by this part of the world, that you build trust by setting boundaries. Now you see why so many times I have said boundaries block you from everything. That's not how you build trust. Trust is understanding that you need to do something. You need to do it. You need to participate in it in order to experience the results. And as you experience the results, you follow your instincts on what the results tell you. Okay. So sometimes, you're walking down a street and you're like, wow, I'm really creeped out. There's somebody over there that doesn't feel right to be around. Those are instincts. That's a universal message from your soul that said, this is not a good place for you to be. Okay. And when you follow those instincts, you remove yourself from the situation. So that's the really cool thing is when you allow this level of information to come in, it's also the best security system on the planet. You don't need to set it to protect yourself. You certainly now understand that boundaries are absolute limitations, because if you set up a boundary on how information is going to come in and how you're going to participate, you can't get consciousness. You can't get to that level because you're only going to get what's in your brain, because your brain is now going to filter everything because it has decided you need protection. You're not strong enough to explore the universe as you were created to do. And they taught you that. They made sure, right? This is part of that manipulation system. They made sure you were going to second guess every single message. But more importantly, they wanted to go even further. So they wanted you to second guess that and to doubt that you even had access in the first place. Okay? So all you're doing is reversing that belief that has caused you pain and suffering. Super simple. And that's the thing, is you have to allow yourself to recognize and to accept. That is the word. Accept that this is simple. It's not complicated. You're actually meant to have these experiences. All you need to do is ask a question and allow yourself to receive the answer. Okay? They're showing me it's like an umbilical cord that goes from you to the universe and from the universe to you, right? This is your connection. If you want information, that's going to come from consciousness. Okay. If you want to explore your potential, this is different. Okay. Because you're going to create something that has not yet been in existence, which is different. So if you're interested in an aspect of anything that brings you interest, okay, it doesn't matter. There's no rules, there's no limits, but you want to create something different. You want to explore your potential. Then what happens is you start asking questions about what's this and how can I do that and how is this going to work? And the universe is going to continue to give you the awareness and the information. Sometimes it's in the form of, strangers showing up in your space with information. Sometimes, things just happen to come across. And I will say this, the universe understands what you need. And sometimes it's AI. The funny thing is, that whole, if you're being tracked, right? I mean, we all know it's creepy as it's creepy. I'm going to refuse to swear today, but it's creepy when your phone listens to what you say and then shows up with ads. But that's the same premise that they're using, because they want you to think, wow, how did my phone know? And clearly most of us are like, okay, this is creepy. We don't want to be tracked, right? But that's awareness in itself, right? These are the kinds of things. So the moment you go, ooh, like who would want to do that to me? Take it to a question. That's going to bring you information. Okay. So as an explorer, you're meant to follow through on all of your interests, right? So then the universe brings in the answers of all of the things you're interested in, right? All the areas of that one thing. And then you're collecting information. So what happens is, like, when you have an idea about something you want to do, and then You're like, oh, and I can do it this way and I can do it this way. And oh, what about this? And what about that? Right? How do I get the money? How do I get the people? How do I get the location, time, all of the pieces that you need? Instead of your brain doing all those things, because your brain only knows your past, it only knows what you've heard, what you've read, what you've seen. It does not know your potential. That's your soul. Okay. And so your job is to allow all of these pieces of information, right? They're coming through that umbilical cord or the energetic fingers, right? The frequency and vibration that you're sending out for questions is how the universe knows, oh my gosh, Michelle wants this information. I need to give it to her. And so they just send it back. They don't need to create a line. You don't have to create lines. This is not complicated, okay? Because beyond physical limitations, right? All those beliefs that we have in our minds, everything is possible. And when you allow yourself to participate in existence as though everything is possible, you will be able to receive wisdom, receive information, receive anything it is you want to experience. But if your belief is this can't, if you find your brain going, this can't happen, or this, shouldn't happen, or, I'm not good enough, or how am I ever going to? Those are all beliefs. And they're all tied to judgment culture, which has taught you shame and guilt, right? And those are the things that have attacked your self-worth the most. So you can't actually produce the experience that you want to experience. Okay. So as a creator, you collect all this information and then you mold it into what you want to move into and how you're going to move forward. It's not complicated. It's understanding that it's mutable, it's changeable, it's energy first. And while you're exploring, you're going to go, oh, that doesn't feel really good. I'm going to try a little bit of this. Or, oh, I want more of that because that's awesome. And then you put a little bit more and you're like, whoa, that's too much. It's not awesome anymore. It's understanding that change is not only inevitable, it's the foundation of existence. And that is in complete contradiction to our current belief system that says you need to create something, you need to follow through, and you need to, be able to say, I did it, right? So you can be judged on it, right? So you can perform for other people in whatever way it is, right? This is the education system taught you that. They taught you how to perform for other people rather than how to follow your instincts. Pretty strategic. And so right now, your goal, your job as a human is to allow yourself to begin to follow your instincts, even when they go against the ideas and ideals in your head that you've relied on to make you feel like you're doing a good job in life. Okay? Because those ideas and ideals, it's being able to accept and recognize that they're based on parts of you that you've outgrown. It's not dramatic. You've outgrown them. And it's being able to say, thank you so much. I don't need to judge myself. I don't need to judge my children or my parents or my experiences. I also don't need to let shame determine if I'm going to receive universal awareness and follow through on it. Because that's what we're doing. That's why you can't actually experience your own existence how you were created to experience it. Okay? It's not complicated, but it is understanding, okay, that you need to allow yourself to recognize that you are the biggest obstacle in your path, nobody else. And as long as you're willing to accept that, you then begin to move forward. And the most important part of all of this is Do not waste a moment of your time and or energy on judging yourself for who you are or what you did up until this moment. Judgment's useless. If you're going to even waste, now you have this awareness, right? When you come to this place where you're like, whoa, this is great. Like I can now see how my, guilt or shame or fear of not performing how I'm supposed to for my family, for society, for my work, whatever it is. When you can let go of that dynamic, then you can focus on where you're going and this new creation in alignment with the universe and all this information coming in. But if you're in judgment, you're still sitting in the past going, I can't believe I did that. That was so reckless, or it was so horrible of me. You're not creating something new. You're still focused on the past. And there's so many people out there that consistently say, I've got to release this, I've got to release that. You do not. Releasing is a waste of your time. Because again, it's a human belief designed strategically to keep you so mentally twisted up in knots that you're still focused on what you can't do. Don't do that. That is a waste of your time, because the truth is you are a universal being. You have the power to change the universe like that. And that's exactly what you should be focusing on. Focus on whatever brings you interest, what brings you joy, what makes you curious, and what challenges you to go outside your comfort zone. Because that combination is literally how you change the world. There's so many people right now that have come into this life knowing they are meant to be a part of this mass transformation of human existence. And yet they continue to focus on judging themselves because they're so worried they're doing something wrong. You are not doing anything wrong unless you're focused on judging yourself for doing something wrong. Make sense? You're ready. You're ready to experience your greatness. And what does that even mean? Ready to experience your greatness? It means you have the potential of your soul. You have access to every aspect of conscious existence in existence at your fingertips. Do not waste it by judging yourself in your past. Go explore, go play. Bring your loved ones along with you. Encourage them to play. Encourage them to follow their interests and their instincts. And what's going to happen is we're going to have this momentum. You can feel it. It's like, gosh, it's like the biggest school of fish, so to speak, in the ocean, right? And I'm seeing them. They're all together. There's fish and there's sharks and there's whales and there's octopus and giant squid. Everyone's together. They don't care. They're not judging anybody else. They're just moving forward and moving towards what we're meant to be experiencing. We're not meant to experience pain and suffering, but if you keep choosing pain and suffering as your goal, which is judgment in the past, then that's what you're going to create moving forward. Remember, 2025 is the year of self-respect. What is that? It starts with self-awareness. It starts with you allowing yourself to see the truth of who you are, not see the truth of how much you can judge yourself. That's not seeing the truth of who you are. That's useless. Seeing the truth of who you are is, what am I capable of? And let's go explore it. Not, oh, I can't do this and I can't do that because of this, this, and this. If you're meant to experience it because you asked a question, right? This is why every one of your questions are important. Is the sky blue? If that's your question, then you need to have that answer. There's a reason we ask questions, and you have to stop overlooking your questions or tossing them aside as they're not valuable because you're more focused on judging yourself, right? Holding on to that shame and guilt. Come over here. Join the party. The party is truth. and it is moving towards your own evolution, which humanity hasn't participated in evolution in 50,000 years. I know that science has told us different, but evolution is creating something new. But we've been in a state of stasis because we have been focused mentally on our own existence. We are not mental creatures. We're not. Yet you've been taught to be. So you got to overcome that. Start with self-awareness. Start with allowing yourself to see truth free of judgment. All you have to do is let your instincts in. It's not hard. And if it is uncomfortable, that's good. That means change is happening. We want discomfort because, again, you're an explorer of your potential. Every single thing you do is going to be new. It's going to be uncomfortable because you haven't done it before. That's great. Keep going. I love you. Thank you for tuning in. I am so grateful to be on this journey with you. Please share this with anyone you feel like they need a reminder that truth is the way to go, that they can leave shame and guilt behind because it's a waste of their energy, right? Let's stop the suffering, but let's do it together in the most incredible way possible, the universal way, the way we're supposed to. This is how we override the system that they created. You just override it by not participating in it. If you're participating in shame and guilt and fear, that's you allowing this system that has been created for you to limit you. That's you trying to use that system to bring yourself to truth and joy, and it's never going to happen. You have to override it. How do you override it? By not even paying attention. Over here, focus on what your questions are and allow yourself to receive the answer, and then participate in whatever the universe is asking you to do, even if you don't think you can, because guaranteed you're 100% capable. You just got to explore it. Thank you so much. I'll see you next time. Bye for now.